baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wonder waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma no be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. I said nobody feel make me feel the way you do. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. When you go check low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. They never know. They never know. My lady, you know me no forgive up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward ever, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. When you go check low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wonder waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma no be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. I said nobody feel make me feel the way you do. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. When you go check low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. 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 My lady, you know me no forgive up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward ever, backward never.
Okay, so here we go. Hi, everybody. We're back here on the Hohner YouTube channel. This is Hohner Live episode 136. And yeah, it's Tuesday evening. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let us know in the chat where you are in the world right now. And I'm excited. We talked on the Hohner Live 2.5 years ago. We just checked. And yeah, excited for an update. Especially because our special guest was on German television with the harmonica in the meantime. So, very interesting. There's not too much harmonica on television nowadays, I guess.
No.
So please welcome with me Dan Murphy. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello, Konstantin. Hello, Harmonica World. 136 episodes. That's impressive, man. Were those all with harmonica players?
Maybe not the first 30. Maybe I'm at 100 interviews now. I gotta check. Like the first ones were just me doing some harmonica instructional stuff, kind of.
Gotcha.
And then it was just me thinking, it would be nice to just invite some people over to my place when they are playing in my town. And I wanted to kick things off with Mark Breitfelder, who's like a chromatic player from Germany. But then COVID happened. And that kind of started the online interview series. And like, yeah, they were just like always new harmonica players to talk to.
Yeah, that's great, man. You've created a wonderful little community of harmonica players. Good on you.
It's nice, yeah. I mean, I talked about this. I mean, this is so exciting for me because like that's something we have in common, kind of this connection to this TV show where you played some harmonica. How long was it ago? Like it was on TV probably 1.5 months ago, something like that.
So when you said you have a connection, were you on Germany's Got Talent?
No, but the thing is, I don't know if they told you kind of, but there was a harmonica player before on Germany's Got Talent.
Oh, Dieter mentioned this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did tell me. And he won that guy, did he?
He actually won. So that was late 2008. And his name is Michael Hirte.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was at home with my parents Saturday night watching the show, you know? And he inspired me to pick up the harmonica.
Wow.
So he won the whole show. It was like kind of an emotional story too. The same time, but he like, there was some sort of a harmonica wave going through Germany, and many people started to play. Also, like a friend at school, we started together, and I got the first harmonica, like the exact model he played, and we tried to play the song he played. It was like during Christmas, so he was like doing Ave Maria and stuff like that.
Wow, so
and
that's
Dieter
Germany's
Bohlen,
Got Talent is the reason you play
exactly.
harmonica.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
I think Dieter Bohlen, he was also a big fan of his, and I mean, you know, he kind of likes to fool around with harmonicas too sometimes.
He jams a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just so interesting. And just thinking about this, like, when does this happen on TV? You know, harmonica in front of a lot of people on TV, like not like a local TV thing, but more of a thing that Saturday night, you know?
Yeah, the whole thing was a strange experience, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I've no regrets. I had a lot of fun, but it was really weird. It was a very strange insight into that side of the entertainment industry, where they reached out to me on Instagram last year, and I'd sort of heard the stories about these shows, so I was a little bit apprehensive. And then I said, you know, fuck it. Sorry, can I swear on your channel, Konstantin?
I'm not sure, man.
You'd be demonetized. Sorry, I'll watch my P's and Q's.
Yeah, this is the Hohner channel.
Why not?
I don't care about the Hohner channel.
Okay, you know, I love Germany, so it's also a big TV show with big ratings. So I feel like it would be silly for someone to turn down an opportunity. And I'm always quite chuffed when people are interested in the harmonica and interested in what I do. So I was kind of back and forth about it, and then I thought, you know what, I'll go and give it a shot. But I went into it with very sort of realistic expectations. And as soon as I told them I was going to do it, so the show aired in April, but it was actually recorded in December.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as I committed to do it, the weirdness started, where they started telling me you have to play a cover song on the harmonica, and this is what the German people like. They like cover songs. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, okay, I took the feedback on board, but I said that's not really what I do. I do beatboxing. I make hip hop grooves on the harmonica. That's kind of what I'm good at. I'm not very good at playing single note melodies or covers of popular songs. But I said, if you're telling me that's what you want, then I'll give it a shot. So I actually tried. They recommended some songs, and I was like, I'll see what I can do with these. But I knew pretty quickly that it's not what I do. I'm not good at that, and it's not selling me in a very good way, because it's just not what I do. So I went back to them and I was like, look, I'm just going to do what I do, and if you don't like it, I don't think I should be on the show. So then there was this kind of back and forth for weeks, where they were kind of like sort of vaguely threatening that the producers would axe me from the show if I didn't do this or that.
Yeah.
And then I had booked the time off, and they had paid for my flights. So I was just like, are we doing this or not? This was in like November, and they said, okay, we're going to go ahead with it. Great. So I flew to Dusseldorf, and I turned up at the studio on the first day, and they wanted me to wear these green plastic shamrock sunglasses because I'm Irish, and I said, I'm not wearing those things. Like, what do you think this is? Irish people don't wear those, and why do you think that would be entertaining for someone to look like that? So then they wanted to interview me before the performance, and the interview was these kind of weird loaded questions, very personal questions about my band and me being in a band with my brother. And they were saying, do you fight with your brother a lot? And they were looking for the emotional backstory, and I just felt like I don't have an emotional backstory. I just like playing harmonica, which is probably, that's what made me a pretty shitty contestant. I think I probably should have had an emotional sob story, but I didn't want to go there with them. And there were a lot of other things, like they wanted me to play air guitar on a sweeping brush at one point while they filmed me, and I was like, I'm not going to do any of this stuff. And I've been in a band for 15 years, so we've been through a lot of TV interviews, and sometimes you'll get a producer who will try and either put words in your mouth, or they'll try and get you to do stupid shit if they can, because it's all about just making things entertaining and sensational. So I had enough experience to know when to put my foot down and say, I'm not doing that. So I think by the time I got on stage, they were like, this guy is... They probably hated me because I said no to everything they asked me to do. So then I went out on stage, and I played, and the judges were really receptive. They gave me 4 yeses. The crowd were really warm. Dieter got up and got out his harmonica, so he had a little jam with me, which was quite funny. And then I went off the stage, and there's 2 presenters who interview people. Now on the Britain's Got Talent, it's these guys called Ant and Dec. I don't know who the German ones are. It's a man and a woman. I'm not sure what their names are, but the man,
I know the blonde guy.
Yeah, the guy was dressed up as a leprechaun when I came off the stage.
I saw that. Yeah,
counting pieces of gold, and so
he got famous through like streaming, like Twitch streaming, and he mostly did like online bets and stuff. And he was like going crazy in front of the cam, like that was his thing, kind of.
Yeah.
And now he's doing like more serious TV stuff.
Yeah, I assumed that was probably what he did. So I left that day, and I was happy that the performance had gone down well.
Yeah.
And then I've never watched any of those shows, so I didn't really know how it worked until afterwards, where if you get 4 yeses, you're not guaranteed to be in the final. They decide that later on. So when I left, they said, we really like what you're doing. I think there's a good chance you'll be back in the final. So I went back to Ireland, And I told him that. So, I mean, I think what I did on the show was kind of basic. I didn't think it was particularly amazing. But I had planned to bring back one of my bandmates with me who plays didgeridoo. And if I got into the final, I was going to do didgeridoo, harmonica, beatbox. And that's really cool. And I was trying to explain to them that this is really unique. Nobody else does anything like that. It's a really cool marriage of two unusual instruments. So they called me a couple of days later and they said, we've really good news. The judges love what you're doing and they want to bring you back. And and then she kind of trailed off and said something else. And I said, sorry, I didn't understand what you said there. And she said, well, the judges love what you do, so they want you to come back to Dusseldorf next week. But you're just going to be here if somebody doesn't turn up or if somebody's sick, because we have too many musicians in the final, so we just want you to be on standby. So I said, okay, so I'm not involved in the final.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm not actually involved. And she said, well, you are, but you're only going to be on the show if somebody doesn't turn up. But I think there's a good chance that you will be. And I was like, they wanted me to go to Dusseldorf for 3 days. So I had an Irish tour at the time, so I said, there's no way I'm doing that. And that was pretty much the end of it. So it left me with it was just I've no regrets in doing it, but I was shocked at how much coercion and kind of hacky, manipulative shit they'll try and get you to do for a camera. And as I said, I've been doing this stuff for 15, 20 years, so I'm able to stand up for myself and say no. But I would feel some concern for younger artists who are talented, but they're impressionable, and they can, like, I live in London, I'm a lecturer, I lecture in music, and I have a lot of students who are singer-songwriters and performers, and they go on these shows and they get spit out the other end of it really quickly, and they can be made feel really undervalued and sometimes humiliated. So I feel some concern for those younger performers that can go into these shows and be manipulated into doing stupid stuff and sometimes be sabotaged. Like I had somebody I know told me that he used to work for The Voice UK, and he was part of a band, the house band in The Voice UK for years, and he said the stuff that goes on there where producers will try and sabotage an artist's performance if they don't want to put them through. So they'll change the key of the song last minute, or they'll rearrange the structure of the song, which is just really awful. And it doesn't surprise me, because at the end of the day, it's like they're just trying to make entertaining TV, but they have very little concern, or they appear to have very little concern for the well-being or the dignity of the artists that they're putting on these shows. So my last kind of advice for young artists considering this path is that it's not a fast track to success. Go into it with very realistic expectations and stand up for yourself, and don't be taken advantage. That's the end of what I have to say about Germany's Got Talent.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I just thinking back, I feel like these are the only 3 times where harmonica was big on TV here in Germany. It was you, and then like a few years back when I won this classical award, that was on TV, luckily. And then Michael Hirte in 2008, and I don't know anything in between, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit
So
of a
those
shame,
are like the big harmonica moments on German TV, kind of.
It's a bit of a shame that there hasn't been more exposure.
Yeah, exactly. I think they did have some harmonica guy in the meantime, but he didn't get as much exposure on the show. It was some German player, and there was something going on in the German harmonica forum. Like, they also told him to play this and that, and of course, yeah.
So what part of Germany are you based in?
Oh, I'm in the north. I'm in Hamburg.
Okay.
But I lived in Cologne for many years before.
Okay. Yeah, because I loved Dusseldorf. It was a beautiful city. I was really, really happy to get 2 days just to wander around. It was at Christmas as well, so the markets were open, and it was it's really nice. Next time I'm in Germany, we'll try and get a little bit closer together, and we could have a jam.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Germany's Got Talent story. It's so interesting. I mean, there's also, I think, Indiara Sphere, you know about her?
Yeah.
She went on Spain's Got Talent. She went to Spain for the show. She's like, you got to go to another country to do this.
To be honest, that was one of the reasons it appealed to me, because nobody knows me in Germany.
Yeah.
And I live in London, so Britain's Got Talent would have just felt a bit weird and too close to
Maybe
home.
I should do that.
Yeah, you'd smash it, man. You'd be great on one of those shows. And you're experienced enough that you would be able to stand up for yourself and not be coerced into doing stupid stuff. So
yeah, that's so interesting. And also, I think Hohner told me that Dieter reached out to them.
Really?
Because he needed some harmonicas to play with you, So like he called them beforehand and he was like, please send me some stuff, like there's this guy who's gonna play on Das Supertalent and I want to play together with him, kind of. And like he still was like, oh yeah, that was like still such an important thing he remembers so well when Michael Hürter won the whole thing in 2008. Like I think he was really supportive of him, and he was also, looking back, he was the most successful winner of the show ever.
Really?
Like he really had some big success for 2 or 3 years right after that.
Wow. What did he do?
He just recorded like Christmas albums and like popular melodies. And
have you met him? Is he still active?
I never met him. That's the crazy thing. Yeah. I guess, he's still active, but not as popular anymore. But still, if you say harmonica here in Germany, like, people might still think of him, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And nowadays, it's also interesting. He still puts out albums, but I guess somebody told me he doesn't even record anymore. It's like MIDI. It's like just programmed, and you can even like hear some MIDI faults sometimes. It's like, but like people, if you aren't a harmonica player or like not musically involved, kind of, you won't notice,
Yeah, there's an Irish guy like that called Don Baker, who's the most famous Irish harmonica player, and he's a bit older now. He's in his 70s, and he had a really fascinating career. He was an actor and a harmonica player and a singer-songwriter, and I actually just ordered his autobiography the other day online, so I haven't read it yet, but somebody told me he's had a fascinating life. And it's funny, he was kind of like the only guy that was really, really active in Ireland playing the harmonica throughout the 70s, 80s and 90s. He did a really famous train impression called Don's Train, and I'll send you the video. Maybe you could edit it into this if you like. But his breath work was insane. Let me see if he used to do this. It was a really simple lick. It was like, which is just in out. Or in out da, 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 in out. But he could do it for like 3 minutes straight at blistering speed.
Yeah,
like crazy speed. And I would love to meet him. He lives in Dublin. I'm going to try and get in touch with him sometime, and I just love to pick his brain about how he works the breathing out when he's doing something that fast, and he can seemingly do it endlessly without losing or running out of breath. And I went down a rabbit hole of kind of harmonica train impressions, and there's some really, really cool stuff. But his is probably one of the most interesting I've seen.
Yeah.
I guess that came from the blues players coming through the deep south in the US back in the 20th century, 19th and 20th century, and just impersonating trains. And it kind of went from there, didn't it?
Right. So
tell me about your playing. What's going on with your career these days?
What's going on? I'm just prepping for. We were talking about this, right? The Asia thing and the harmonica festivals, and going to Japan for the first time, just prepping and learning and doing some research for Japanese music only repertoire and program. Yeah, they got some great music and it fits the harmonica really well.
Yeah.
I might play some chromatic on some of the melodies.
I was gonna ask, what harmonicas do you play for Japanese music?
Yeah, but yeah, chromatic harmonica is just a hobby. But I saw you using the chromatic too. Even beatboxing through it, right?
I would be lying if I said I could play a chromatic harmonica.
But you have one.
I have one, and it's quite old, and
Okay.
the button doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse. I've actually just never really put the time in to learning it, and it's such a beautiful sounding instrument that is, there's a lot more you can do melodically on it than a standard diatonic. So I should really dig into it a little bit more. I love Stevie Wonder's playing, and I've always wanted to kind of sit down and try and work out some of his solo pieces.
Yeah, but besides that, you usually play Lee Oscar diatonics, right?
Yeah, baby. I've been retuning some Lee Oscars lately, so I love the low diatonics, and I retune those to make natural minors and harmonic minors.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
I already grabbed my special tunings to learn some stuff from you. Yeah. I got like some low stuff, some other special tuning, like this pentaharp too. And I think this minor harp, I think this is a harmonic minor for some reason. I don't know why. Do you ever use harmonic minor?
Yeah, I love harmonic minor. I was actually just playing it today. Harmonic minor is probably my favorite key.
Okay.
There's just something so edgy and dissonant about it that I really love. You showed me, last time we spoke, you showed me this really like psychedelic sounding tuning. I think you might have said there was 2 minor chords in it.
And it was one of these. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded kind of like you were just you were going. You were doing that, but it sounded like an arpeggiator from Kraftwerk or something.
So I mean, this is the Hohner pentaharp, where you have these 2 chords, which are sounding kind of weird. It's like a suspended sound on the bow in A, and then a C minor on the draw. So like a minor third apart from each other. That's the blow. And
Yeah.
And the C minor,
great.
which is kind of good. But this is the other one.
Did you retune that yourself?
No, this is like a stock Hohner pentaharp. This is the tuning that's just has like the blues scale built in. If you just blow draw.
Nice.
So you don't have to bend and stuff.
Yeah. That's cool.
But it's actually nice to play this in another key. It's easier, or like even bluesier to play this in the key of the draw chord, like in C minor. And you can just like easily transpose, you know?
Nice. That sounds great, man.
So, but yeah, not many people are using this.
I retuned a low C diatonic yesterday to make the Richter tuning. So I'm going to try and learn some Irish traditional songs, which is it's really cool. They play a lot of triplets on one note, which will be tricky, but I'm going to give that a shot now that I have this tuning.
Yeah.
You know, playing harmonica for over 10 years and I've never learned an Irish song. It's a bit disgraceful.
And this is the other one. This is so-called true chromatic tuning. which is nice too.
Nice. What
So-
do you use that for?
I never use it. Like, it's just like back many years ago. Like there was this Russian fantastic player Alex Paklin, and he used this. And there was some guy in Bulgaria who made this tuning up, kind of. And it's just like just like going up in thirds. So you got a minor third, major third, minor third. I think it's always minor, major third. And just a whole step
do you,
apart from each other.
What do you use for the Japanese stuff?
I'm just going to use my regular diatonics and some chromatics, yeah. I'm not using special tunings on stage at all. Yeah. But yeah, this is half valved, so like you can bend the blow notes too.
Nice. The blow notes sound great on the band.
Yeah.
Love that.
And you got these beautiful thirds, like it's like almost like a country tuned harp.
Yeah.
And then going to the minor, like, yeah.
I might have told you last time we spoke, so I taught myself to play harmonica, and I've always used tongue blocking. It's just how I learned, and a few years ago I kind of realized there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't do unless I was puckering, particularly for Lee Oscar stuff. He uses mostly puckering, and like a lot of the sliding that he does between certain notes. So I started to learn how to pucker, and I've really struggled with it actually. And I know you pucker quite a lot, right?
Most of the time, yeah.
Do you have any tips? I find it, because with my tongue blocking I can get nice accuracy on single notes, and there always seems to be some kind of bleed when I'm puckering in just closing the notes and getting that accuracy on single melodies. And I haven't had anybody, I haven't had a lesson in it, so I'm probably doing something wrong. But how do you manage that?
I guess it's like, as always, like very important to like think like very, yeah, like fishy, like very outside. And even with the pucker, you want to take the harmonica as far as possible in your mouth, so you got a full tone, kind of. I would say the upper lip is kind of flexible on top of the upper cover plate. Like the lower one is kind of fixed. Like that's not a way you take the harmonica further in your mouth. So I'm flexible up here.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have an A harmonic minor?
Yes, I do. Give me a second.
Because that's the one you can teach me some stuff on too. Because I remember 2.5 years ago I didn't have this.
How's your beatboxing?
Yeah, that's the stuff I want to work on. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
I can't remember. Did we talk about beatboxing much last time?
Yeah, maybe, but like, I didn't have this back then. Like, I didn't have like any minor tuned harmonica.
Okay.
So like,
Yeah.
we could really get into it. But yeah, single. single notes. I remember talking to this fantastic chromatic player, Philip Ahill, in Estonia Harmonica Festival a few years ago, and everybody was talking about embouchure and people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm puckering. Oh yeah, I'm tongue blocking," and then somebody mentioned U blocking, and he was like, "Yeah, I feel like I'm doing like a mixture. I'm mixing U blocking and puckering." But so he feels like he already focuses the airstream using the U blocking technique, kind of, but like further back in his mouth, so he still got the freedom articulating with his tongue and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So like he has this U shape going on, but further back in his mouth. So it's like kind of centering the airstream already. And also enables you to take the harmonica further into your mouth while puckering, kind of. And I noticed that I'm also doing that kind of. I already have this shape with my tongue going on further back there. Because if I take the harmonica out of my mouth while puckering, this doesn't look like you could hit a single note with that, right?
Yeah. It's the vibrato is much nicer when I pucker. It's slightly wider than it is with tongue blocking. And the tone, I always feel like the tone is slightly warmer. Lee Oscar thinks the tongue blocking makes it sound warmer, but it's definitely different. It's a different tone. And I think a mixture of both is really good depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one. It's like I've played guitar for over 20 years, and I remember when I'd been playing for 6 or 7 years, and I was, I could play at that point. I wasn't bad, but I looked at how a lot of guitarists hold a plectrum, and I was holding it kind of between the flat of my thumb and my index, when a lot of people actually hold it to the side of their index. And it's a different tone. It's definitely a sharper tone because there's more resistance. And I tried to teach myself how to hold a plec like that, and it was so hard to do. When something is ingrained and it's become muscle memory, it's so difficult to train your body to go at it from a different point of reference. So I will persist with the puckering, but I think it's probably something that will always feel a little bit like writing with your opposite hand,
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is, like, of course, while tongue blocking, the tip of your tongue is kind of fixed. That's maybe where you get more control with the vibrato puckering,
Yeah.
Because like tongue blocking, you gotta do that stuff more with the middle and parts of the tongue that are further back in your mouth.
I like that I have a reference. I can feel the holes with my tongue, so that tells me where I am. And then without that, I get really lost. So... And that was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But the tongue blocking is definitely easier for me.
Yeah, so I just got this end of last year, because like at some point, Hohner wanted to have like sound samples for like every single model they have. So they sent me everything. And I had to come up with like 3 audio samples. So I recorded all of them, and I picked some harmonicas that are gonna stay with me here, and I wanted to have like a minor tuned one. So now I got this. But you mostly use natural minor ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love harmonic natural minor. I use a lot of melody makers too. Lee Oscar plays a melody maker on almost everything he does.
Yeah.
And they can make beautiful chords, and and there's a little bit more room in where you can go with them. But for me, it's mostly harmonic and natural minor, and sometimes low diatonic. In my band, I play guitar and I sing, so I only play harmonica for kind of like a half of the set. It's not every song, and then I do a harmonica solo towards the end of the show, which is kind of the beatbox and stuff. And yeah, I'm still trying. I feel like I'm still learning and finding my way around the instrument, and I'm always trying. Like, I love when you post your videos of you playing. I love your style of playing, and I'm always trying to expose myself to as many different types of players, because I'm kind of like, I'm a magpie. If I see something shiny, I'll pick it up and I'll try and figure out how it works. And I find I get kind of static if I'm not learning new things. So if I'm focused on learning something new, I'm good. That's usually a good driver for me to practice, which is why I made myself a Richter the other day, and I'm going to try and learn some Irish trad songs. And two of my bandmates come from really strong backgrounds in Irish traditional music, so I can hopefully jam, play some trad tunes with them.
Right, yeah. So, I might have played you this beatboxing rhythm before, like, I haven't advanced in the meantime.
Yeah.
But I feel like you got a whole different approach, so maybe you could show me some stuff.
Sure. Let's have a look.
On this harmonic minor one.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be like a good thing to start off with?
Why don't you show me what you've been doing?
Oh, like when I grabbed this pentahop, I did something like, let's see. So kind of just incorporating this.
Nice.
Which is
That's
cool.
great, man. I really like that. How are you doing your snare? Are you blowing out for the snare?
Let me check.
Yeah.
There's not even a snare in there, is there?
So when you're doing the
It's just the.
that's essentially
That's
going to
sort
be the
of-
offbeat.
yeah.
So that's why it feels like a snare. I mean, that sounds really good to me.
But
I love it.
That's the only thing I can do. I can do like the. Like something like that.
Yeah, so that's a snare. How did you do that snare?
Exhaling, but I can also do it inhaling.
So that's how I would recommend integrating a snare. So I'll break down.
That's
Yeah.
it.
The snare is, I mean, I'm a very rudimentary beatboxer. I'm not particularly good at it, but I've just integrated basic sounds into harmonica playing. The kick you've got down, so the kick is really straightforward. That's just a pressing your lips together and you're making kind of a B sound. And I always imagine that the energy is kind of going down into the ground. And for some reason that helps me get like a nice attack. And if you do that in front of a microphone, it sounds really, really punchy. On a big PA system, it can sound really impressive. So that's the kick. That one is pretty easy. When you're beatboxing, normally you'd have a hi-hat after the kick.
Right.
Now the harmonica basically is the hi-hat. That occupies the space in the groove that the hi-hat would normally occupy. So you don't need to make a hi-hat. The third thing that you're going to do is the snare. And the snare is... Everybody seems to do the snare a different way.
Yeah, there are different ones.
Yeah,
There's also
some
like
people just put like a...
That thing.
Yeah, a lot of people just put like an F on the kick.
Yeah.
Which, it works, but it doesn't... For me, it doesn't really sound like a snare. The reason I play harmonica and the reason I beatbox on it is because, I'm sure I might have told you about him before, is a guy called Philip Henry, who's... a British folk musician who's a complete virtuoso, just a genius slide guitarist and a harmonica player. I discovered him when I was in my 20s, and I just went out and bought a slide guitar, and then I bought a harmonica, and I was just really inspired by his playing and the expression and the emotion in his music. And he uses beatboxing, and I met him about 10 years ago, and he was kind of showing me the basics of how he beatboxes, and he inhales on the snare. Now he does it a different way to me. He kind of showed me this way of, it's like in the back of his throat, like that. And I've never been able to do it that way. It feels really weird for me to do it that way. But the way that I worked out that works for me is kind of, it's sort of under my tongue, and and I breathe in really, really quickly. And I kind of curl my tongue so you get a little bit of reverb on it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the quicker you breathe it in, the more attack you get on it.
Yeah.
And basically it's just those two elements really, the kick and the snare. And from there I just kind of experiment with different grooves, and every now and again I land on a new one that's like, oh, that's cool. I anytime I try and teach someone how to do it, it's I confuse myself, I confuse the person, so I'm not sure how effective I am at actually communicating what the grooves are.
Yeah,
but you can.
I need some new grooves.
Yeah. So try
that's like a
that
double
one's
kick.
cool. It's like, so a kick, and then two blows. Try that. Yeah, and then you're going to do your snare, breathing in.
Okay.
Yeah, and now another 2 blows.
Let me do them. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And basically repeat. And you can double up on the kick if you want.
Yeah.
You can throw in the little tongue roll, throw that in there after the kick.
Let me try this, because like I'm so used to like after doing like the kick, which is always exhale, right?
Yeah.
I'm so used to drawing on the harmonica afterwards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah, that feels so natural, kind of.
Yeah, if you do that, it might be better. Now that you actually make that point, there are some grooves where I have to do an exhale on the snare because I run out of breath. So if you find that you're doing a lot of inhaling after the kick, it might be better to do your snare on the exhale.
But yeah, in this case, obviously, yeah. So I'm inhaling on that one.
Yeah.
I just gotta get used to this. I'm so used to doing the draw chords. There you go.
Yeah. And what I've found with this stuff, and this goes for any instrument, is if you're trying to write something new, it can often really help to just put down the instrument and hear it in your head, and then try and reverse engineer what you hear in your head on the instrument. Because I find, and I've done that on guitar. I mean, my band, one of our most popular songs is called Quicksand, and we were recording Quicksand this time 10 years ago, and our producer Phil, there's a guitar solo after the second chorus. Our producer Phil just kept saying to me, he's like, if you haven't got it, go and write another solo. You haven't got it. And what it was is I was coming up with these kind of overly intricate guitar licks that sounded nice from a guitarist perspective, but melodically there just wasn't anything of real substance. And the problem was that when I sit down with a guitar, my fingers have habits and they kind of go in certain patterns and they move in certain ways. When we play harmonica, it's the same. You have you're kind of habituated into playing certain things. And that's why I was tending to repeat myself on the guitar. So in the end, we actually just put down the guitar in the studio and we sat around and we just sang melodies, imagining what the guitar solo might be.
Yeah.
And we came up with the solo collaboratively, and then I figured out how to play that melody on the guitar, and it was a much more effective way of coming up with something unique. And I've often found I've landed on really cool stuff on the harmonica when I do that, when I sit with an idea and I try and hear it in my head first, and then I work out. I mean, I landed on a cool kind of a groove recently. And you know, that I had to kind of teach myself how to play that after it emerged sort of in my head, because the rhythm came to me first, and that can be a really good thing to try and adapt from other songs as well. You hear a nice drum groove or a rhythm and then just sit down on the harmonica and try and stumble around in the dark until something comes through. Yeah. And even if it ends up sounding a million miles away from the actual original idea, it'll probably be something that you haven't played before. And I find that's a really good way to generate fresh ideas and to take you somewhere else with your playing.
Nice. Can you show me another one, a little more advanced?
Let me see.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Nice. Yeah.
So try, which is kick, blow, snare, blow.
It's all blow.
Yeah. Let's go back to well, the snare is going to be inhaling. Let's go back to the A harmonic minor. Yeah.
Shit.
So try this. So you're going to add. Yeah.
I gotta listen to it. Gotta listen to it again. It's like two
and
draw
then breathe
chords in the
in,
end.
breathe in at the end. Yeah.
Right after another snare on the inhale, right? Blow draw.
Yeah.
So no, I'm drawing all the time.
So kick.
I'm
kick,
so used to this.
Kick and then breathe out. Yeah, you got it.
So that's it.
Woo!
I gotta work on that. Yeah.
And you can just loop that. That sounds cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you can get stuck on that for a while and then get back into the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And when you put in your lovely lead licks in between that, I think you're going to be able to do some really cool stuff.
Oh yeah, now I want to do that. That last one you did.
So that is.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a kick. So like a quick triplet. Yeah. And then a snare. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Or you can finish on a kick if you like.
Do that again. Oh, okay, it's another kick kind of in the end.
Yeah. You got it.
Is it a kick?
Yeah.
On the
You can finish on a kick, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I play the kick into a blow. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a little
so-
weird because like the blow chord beforehand, I got the whole harmonica in my mouth, you know,
Yeah.
and then I got to take it out again.
Yeah, you've got it already. Or that guy Philip Henry was really, really good at those kind of triplets. He would do lots of cool grooves with triplets that are kind of adapted from blues riffs, just thrown into triplets, either breathing in or out. And there's so much you can do when you just start throwing that into the beatboxing grooves.
Yeah, sometimes you do this triplet thing like this fill kind of, but using the bull chords, right? Poof.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
So kick out, kick, blow, blow, snare, blow, blow, repeat.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I never thought of this stuff.
Do you know what? That's kind of, it's just a much quicker version of what we started with.
Yeah. Yeah. Always drawing. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm gonna work on these, man. Yeah.
Dude, you'll be able, once you get that down, there'll be so much you can do with it because you're such a versatile player that I think it'll open up a whole world of cool stuff for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a good thing if people ask, man, you got your harmonica with you? Play something. You know? And then I always feel like just playing like a single note melody, it's like so unimpressive, kind of.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
matter how complex or hard it is to play, you know. So
it's funny when I hear
with
someone
like
playing
the beatboxing, you got like more elements and like you got some groove and like.
Yeah, it's an easy way to get people moving for sure. But I mean, when I hear someone playing blues harmonica, which I'm not particularly good at, when I hear them doing that, I just think it's the coolest stuff. Actually, I want to show you. I'm going to send you a video of this guy. You might have come across him. He's an American blues player, and he does this thing, and I haven't been able to figure out. Maybe you could edit the video into this when it goes out, but I've just sent it to your Instagram.
Okay.
He has a technique where I'll let you hear it, but I asked Lee Oscar about this, of like, how is this guy fucking doing that? Because it's such a cool thing. And Lee said Lee wasn't too sure, but he said he's seen some guys doing this years ago, and I think I just sent you the video, so if you want to have a look, tell me what you think he's doing, and then I haven't mastered it yet, but I think I know how he's doing it.
Okay.
It should be in your Instagram DMs right now. This guy is called
okay, yeah.
Isaac Corbett.
Oh, there's sound in the beginning.
Yeah. It's like a...
Yeah,
but he's doing it on a
I don't know
draw.
how to do that on the draw, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's making like a snoring noise.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
like
back
either
of
the
his
snoring
nasal
thing
cavity.
or I also heard like some French players do this. They can do the rolled R from the back of their mouth. I can't do that, even on the blow, on the exhale, you know? I'm always rolling the R with my tongue, like
Yeah.
but they can roll the R with like further back in their mouth. I don't know how to do that, but that's something they can do both on the blow and the draw. So that's something similar.
I couldn't figure out how anyone could do that on the draw. Now, what I think he's doing is going
Yeah.
like a snoring sound, but when I do it, you can hear that I'm snoring through my nose.
Yeah.
But it does make the effect. I'll show you.
Oh
So
yeah,
you can
right.
hear it's vibrating, but it doesn't sound as clean as his.
Yeah.
So it's a mystery. He's a really good player. His name is Isaac Corbett,
Yeah.
and if I ever meet him, I'll be asking him to show me how he does that.
Yeah, I can do the snoring, but it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, yeah. He
Are there
gets
like any other drum sounds that you use?
not really, and there are so many great beatboxers out there that make really amazing textures and percussive sounds and like these really cool bass notes. And
Yeah.
so I think I'm only kind of scratching the surface with what you could do with it. And I would love to spend a bit more time kind of getting into beatboxing techniques so that I could get a little bit more out of it. One thing I've really enjoyed is I've got a Helix guitar amp simulator, and that has some pretty cool effects on it, and I can plug an XLR into it and use the effects from the guitar simulator on the harmonica. There's a kind of there's one cool like an organ harmonizer effect, and it's so cool. It like fills the room and it makes the harmonica sound like a church organ. So I've enjoyed getting real kind of power out of the PA system using effects. That's been cool. And the sound engineer that travels with us with Hermitage Green usually adds an octave and a low pass filter when I'm playing the harmonica, so it sounds really, really big and boomy. And if you play the beatboxing stuff on like a big stage at a festival, like it rocks. Like it sounds really, really good, and people go crazy for it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's this thing that I sometimes do which could fit this beatboxing world, kind of like you probably can do this, just like making notes or even chords sound like they are being played in reverse, like reversed, like. Like kind of swelling into them, like starting very quietly, and then you gotta end them actively with your tongue, kind of.
What do you use live? Do you have an effects rig?
Never. I do have like an effect pedal board which I used when I played in some other bands, but nowadays it's just duo harmonica piano, and I'm trying to do all the effects myself, kind of.
Yeah, au natural.
Yeah. What's like the lowest tuned harmonica you beatbox on?
The low C is as low as
Okay.
the Lee Oscar diatonics go.
I got a low G now.
Do you? Give me a
It's
listen.
nice. Yeah, you can like
that's
hear the reeds vibrate so well.
Yeah. That's great.
It's hard to get the bands, like you gotta warm up and stuff.
Is that as low as any key you have?
That's the lowest I have, but I think there's a low F too, like a whole step below.
Yeah, they sound so rich, don't they? Nice.
It feels good.
Yeah, I need to get myself one of those.
But what's like some beatbox stuff you would do on a regular Richter tuned harmonica? Is that like a different approach? Is it more based on the draw chord or on the blow?
No, it's pretty much what I showed you. And then it's just sitting down and I just come up with different grooves. I only do that stuff when I'm playing an actual harmonica solo because I'm in a band, so there's no point beatboxing when you have a band. It doesn't carry. So for me, most of my playing is actually just little leads, licks.
Yeah.
Like if there's a bridge section in a song, I'll usually grab a harmonica and just kind of fill the space. But I play it pretty much the same.
Can you do something on a regular rickshaw tune one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
so
it's
much
amazing.
fun.
The keys make such a difference.
Yeah.
Like that's why I love. If I had one of those low Gs, I would just get in there with a filer and tune it down, make it natural minor, because I love the sound of a low diatonic when it's dropped to a minor. It's so cool and dark, and then the major diatonics instantly just sound brighter and happier. But I think you can do the cooler stuff with the minor. I think it suits those sort of hip hop grooves, and they just seem to marry together really, really well.
Yeah, maybe I should at least like tune down the 3-hole blow on this one. No, tune it up. Yeah, whole step. So I got the minor chord on the blow. Yeah.
Is that the low G?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These chords, I'm not sure. Like they don't feel like beatboxing. It's like very, very specific style.
Yeah.
R&B-ish, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very jazzy.
I mean, what is also you've obviously got a great collection of different keys now, and what can also be really fun is to just start grabbing different harmonicas.
Yeah, that's the thing you do so well, like coming up with some nice progressions. Like, can you show off one where you're like using 4 harmonicas and stuff? I saw these videos.
They wanted me to do that in Germany's Got Talent, but I was trying to explain to them that it's actually really fucking hard to hold a microphone and 4 harmonicas at the same time. So the multi-harmonica thing works better when you don't have a microphone.
Yeah,
I used 2 in the Germany's Got Talent one, but yeah, you can make beautifully rich progressions with just kind of stapling stuff together. And I always make the mistake of just not writing down which harmonicas I've used, and then I have to go through them again. Trying to figure it out.
I heard you
Sounds like Hohner send you some nice stuff to play with, do they?
Yeah, I should ask for some more. I need some. And they don't do I just gotta retune them. If I want to get some lower tuned minor chords. I heard that you kind of sang into the harmonica on the bow. Did you ever sing into the harmonica while playing a draw chord?
While playing a draw. I can do it by blowing. Not by drawing.
Yeah, that's like singing while inhaling. So
definitely.
That could be a cool addition.
Yeah. What I often do is let's say if I finish like this, we'll go back to the A minor. I would sing the low A, or maybe something lower. So this is a low C. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So I'm just humming that note over.
I can't even get that low with my voice, I think.
Yeah, and Philip Henry does a lot of vocalizations you know, I mean, Sonny Terry used to do a lot of whooping and hollering, whoop.
Yeah.
And, I've gotten so many comments on TikTok, people going like, "Why does he do that annoying noise?" Whoop. And I think that could.
Oh,
be
you do
kind
that
of
sometimes
divisive.
too?
Yeah. Like, whoop. And
You gotta teach me. I can't do the woo in between.
so it's just you know your falsetto, right?
Yeah.
Nah. Woo.
So where what's the placement?
In the groove.
Yeah.
Woo. 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 So I think I'm going woo. Yeah, I'm breathing in after it.
It feels so weird. I'm not gonna do this on stream.
Yeah, so give it a whoop and then breathe in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. You just have to dive in and always
like
record.
the only stuff that's like similar is when there's something Carlos Arjunco does, which is more of a train imitation, which is also cool. Instead of the whoop, he's just like jumping up, playing some melody in between. So it sounds like there's a melody and the chord accompaniment at the same time. Because like that's when you do the whoop, like it also feels like it's like two people, sort of. Right?
Yeah.
And he's doing like... It's cool to do this on the low hub. Yeah.
That's cool. Is that starting on a draw?
So it's
Is that it?
blow, draw, draw, blow, draw, draw, blow, draw, draw. Blow, draw, draw, blow, draw, draw, blow. It's just do daka blow draw blow draw blow draw
Yeah,
daka
yeah.
daka.
And when you
And it sounds like the melody is like coming from another instrument almost because it's so fast, kind of.
yeah,
And like
cool.
especially the low reeds, like they are still like vibrating as you're playing the melody note, so it's like,
Yeah, that sounds great. And when you build the speed on those, they really start to feel like a train, don't they?
yeah. All of this is about speed.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, you can really groove doing harmonica beatboxing at slow tempos too, right? If you
Yeah.
can you do something slow, like something laid back?
I mean,
It always has some sort of a reggae taste to it, kind of. Also, like this playing the chords and then like maybe imitating like the slap delays and stuff in reggae, you know? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's just, let me try with a melody maker. Do Hohner do melody makers?
I don't even know the exact layout of a melody maker. Nice, yeah.
I'm still in love with you, boy. It's got that. I mean, technically, if you were to do real reggae, you'd remove the kick drum on the one. They call that a one drop.
Yeah.
And what it does is it emphasizes the backbeat. I think I would miss the kick drum on the one if I was to do that, but that's how they do it in reggae.
But can you teach me that groove on the harmonic minor?
Yeah, so that's going to be a. So just a kick, blow, blow, snare, blow, blow.
My snare, you do the snare differently. I do it further back, and you do the tongue crawl thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work on that.
Well, it's just whatever. I don't know anyone else that does that. Nobody ever showed me to do it. It's just how my mouth works.
Yeah.
I have a big jaw, got a big chin, so maybe that's why it feels more comfortable for me to do it that way.
I mean, it especially sounds good within this rhythm for some reason.
Yeah, maybe it just suits the shape of my mouth.
Do it again.
Yeah.
There's a slight variation during the second.
So I removed the kick
Yeah.
on the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like important to this transition from the kick into the chord. You know, that's important.
Let me I'll hold that groove and you should play some lead over it. We can have a little virtual jam here.
Well, will that be in real time? I'm not sure if we sync that. I don't even know how to solo on this. Yeah, maybe now. I know
Let's
where
try
some notes are.
2, 3, 4. Nice.
That could also be nice fill for beatboxing. Like these tongue splits where you just cover one hole in the middle. It's like a nice intervals coming out of the instrument.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
So I got like 3 holes in my mouth and I'm covering the middle one with like the tip of my tongue.
Yeah,
that feels
that's
pretty.
how Rory McLeod. He's a brilliant British folk harmonica player. He does similar kind of
Yeah.
and he covers the middle 2 holes with his tongue. Cool effect.
Man, this feels pretty raw on the regular marine band, like the cool. And I remember doing like covering 3 in the middle for like tenths on the Panther harp before, which is cool too. It's like a machine where you put money in. Like, how do you call that?
A slot machine. Yeah.
It probably has different chords, but
Mm. How do you do? Let me see. Do you know that you mentioned Indira earlier? She has the most incredible vibrato, particularly on drawn notes. It's like
Yeah.
really wide and so expressive and soulful. And I've never quite figured out how she gets it. It's mine is like stop start. Hers, the pitch wobbles on it. How do you do that on a, let's say, on a draw note?
Which key harmonica was that?
That was an A flat, but you use whatever you have.
Let me grab my A flat. Shit, where's my A flat?
We can use the A harmonic minor if that's easier.
Here's my A flat.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot about bending control, I think. You were playing the full draw, right?
Yeah, 4 draw is good.
That's like very, very big movement in terms of pitch, right?
I love that. How you doing that? Yeah, how you doing that shaky one on the 4 draw?
Yeah, it's definitely solely my throat. And you can hear it's like it's just these continuous bending thing, but the bends are controlled from the throat only, you know. So it helps to gain like more and more control for the throat vibrato to practice the band's tongue blocked, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely would do it tongue blocked.
So doing the tongue block thing and then gaining control over the whole range of the band. I'm tongue blocking right now. I think that's like the most important thing to have like proper control over the whole range.
Yeah, it feels very different whether you're puckering or tongue blocking. It sounds nicer, the vibrato sounds nicer when I'm puckering, but as I said earlier, I kind of struggle with that technique a little bit more.
And there's like you can do some weird stuff. There's like both at the same time, like coming from my tongue, some bends, and also some from my throat at the same time. It's like
nice.
kind of
Yeah, like a call to prayer or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do that sound. Only if it feels better. Maybe it feels like Isaac is doing somewhat differently.
Yeah, his is just really tight.
And it's just like a nice, how do you call these nowadays in TikTok videos, like the beginning of them? It's like a nice, just the sound alone is like a nice hook for his video.
Yeah.
Kind of. It already grabs like a lot of attention.
That's it. It's like you got to keep them watching, and if the start has something that grabs people, and that one certainly does, isn't it?
Yeah. Man, that's so good. I'm excited to work on some of the grooves and like speed them up and
Yeah,
maybe also
let me know
incorporate
how it goes. I'm
the
excited
other
to see what
snare.
you can do with it with your style. I think you'll be able to do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I just need some good special tune harmonicas. Yeah, and I don't know. I saw the video where you did the chromatic thing. I'm not sure. Like the chromatic doesn't give you too many options. It's like mostly the two chords, like D minor and C major, right?
Well, when I was playing it, I was actually just pressing the button to move the chord by a semitone.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like da da dun dun la, dun dun
All
la,
right,
dun,
yeah.
dun. So I was just tapping the side of it,
You got
and
the
I mean,
chromatic with you right now?
no,
Okay.
um, it's in Ireland, and I mean that video, man. It's about 10 seconds long. I think it has 2 million views on TikTok. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know why people find that so entertaining, but it's you never know which ones are going to resonate with people, and it's funny. That one has huge views.
Yeah.
TikTok also doesn't pay you for a video that's less than a minute long, so I gotta start
Oh,
making
okay.
longer videos. Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
yeah. Well, TikTok doesn't pay very well, anyways, but it doesn't pay anything for the short videos. YouTube is good. Um,
Yeah.
YouTube pays. Spotify doesn't pay. Um, but YouTube, I find, is the only platform that actually pays something that seems relatively fair. But yeah, the rest of them are pretty abysmal.
Yeah. But there was a 16-hole chromatic you played, right?
I think so. Um,
Yeah.
I've had it for years and it doesn't work properly. And I'm not a chromatic player, so I don't know. But I would love to. Could you recommend a particular model? Because I would love to buy one and just get into it, spend a little bit more time with it.
Yeah, I'm trying different stuff right now. I can show you a few. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, let's hear it.
Um. Yeah. Also, Hohner sent me some. I'm trying to find the right model. I gotta grab them when we're done. I'm gonna show you a few
Nice. Okay.
because like it's great to play some chromatic. I'm just like I'm always just like I was always just like figuring out some stuff I never really practiced in that sense. I remember at some point maybe I went through the scales, the major scales, and all the keys, but that wasn't very serious, and I only wanted to play blues in D minor on them. But now like knowing about the structure of the diatonic and then just imagining, okay, I got this middle octave repeated over the whole instrument. You kind of find a way around it, especially in like the easier keys.
Yeah.
And that's fun. And then you get used to the slide, and then it's like not that big of a hustle anymore, like, to like press the button and like do the coordination. That's like the main thing that's like so unusual for diatonic players to have this
And
action added.
the holes are a little bit bigger, which I find kind of makes it easier
Yeah.
for accuracy. But I mean, there are some classical players out there I've seen playing chromatic that can do some incredible stuff. But yeah, it's just not something I've ever spent the time on really getting into.
Yeah, it's also incredible how easy it is to read music on a chromatic, kind of. Because there was 2 weeks ago, I taught in Berlin a masterclass along with Philip Jers. He taught jazz chromatic and some other blues player, Victor Puertas. Philip said everybody in his course was able to read music, which is amazing, you know.
Are you a good reader?
On a C harmonica, I am. But other than that,
Did you learn to read from playing harmonica or with another
no,
instrument?
piano and clarinet and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I never learned to read as a kid. I studied music in college, so I did a little bit in college. But really just kind of learned to play intuitively. And I discovered, Rick Beato.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about theory from his videos, and what I love about his articulation of theory is that I have some friends who watch his videos who aren't musicians, and they love how analytical and detailed he gets on it. But I think what makes him different is that he always communicates the emotional interpretation of something. So, like, I was watching a video the other day where he was talking about melody, and he said he was interviewing Sting, and he said Sting thinks a good melody should contain something he calls surprise notes. So just basically an interval or a note that you don't expect, and then they break down what a surprise note is, and they look at some examples, and it's mainly a lot of Sting's melodies that Rick Beato was into use the Aeolian with the flattened sixth.
Yeah.
And he said it's that it's that flattened sixth that sounds slightly different. It's not what we expect, especially if you grow up listening.
It's funny
to
how this already
West.
sounded like Sting when you just sang these last three notes. Like.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the song. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. I can't remember the name of it, but that's what the melody is, basically the flattened sixth from the Aeolian. And Rick Beato has such a beautiful ability to communicate why that stuff resonates with us as human beings, and he connects the rational, technical, theoretical stuff with the emotional interpretation of it, which is so great. And that's always something that I felt was lacking when people tried to teach me music theory as a kid.
Right. Man, there was also, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. It's getting late. You're going on tour again in Ireland with your band, right? So
Hermitage Green are going to be in the US in August. So we're playing a bunch of shows in Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Chicago, Utica, and Syracuse in New York. So come and see us, Harmonica World. Come and say hello and see a show, and then I'm going to, after the tour, I'm going to Jamaica. I have a friend in Jamaica. His name's Gregory David Roberts. He wrote the book Shantaram. He was Australia's most wanted convict. He escaped from a maximum security prison in the 80s, and he fled to India, where he worked for the mafia for 10 years. But he was eventually sent back to prison, and he wrote a really amazing book called Shantaram, which was an international bestseller. And I went to Jamaica 2 years ago to work on some music with Greg, and we've remained really, really good friends. And he's a very wise, artistic, deep thinker. And I'm going to go back and hang out with him for a couple of days after the tour, and maybe even work on some new music, which I will keep everybody posted on. Hoping to release new music with Hermitage Green towards the end of the year, or potentially early 2026.
Okay, nice. Perfect. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Check out the description box below. You can find the link to Dan's socials. hermitagegreen.com. You can check out the website, Instagram, YouTube. Check out Dan's TikTok for all the beatboxing videos. And see you in the next one. We got another Hohner Live next week, I think, and then end of next week the special effects harmonica challenge, which I announced on my YouTube channel. So check that out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dan, for hanging out with us tonight.
Always a pleasure, Konstantin.
My lady, you know me, no fi give up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward ever, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get back, I know. Girl, you they never know. Money go check I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wanna waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma not be luck. Baby, nobody feel there like you. Rara, rara. I said nobody feel make me feel the way you do. Rara, rara. I'ma get that I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. Money go check I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. 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 My lady, you know me, no fi give up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward and far, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. Money go check I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wanna waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma not be luck. Baby, nobody feel there like you. Rara, rara. I said nobody feel make me feel the way you do. Rara, rara. I'ma get that I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. Money go check I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. They never know. up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward ever, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wanna waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma not be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. I said nobody feel make me feel the way you do. I'ma get that low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move, they never know, they never know. Money go check low. Girl, you're the best